Okay. I got him down. He tried tossing it.
Yeah.
I was stepping on his hand right here.
Yeah.
And then he kept moving towards it, and then he moves past it as he's moving back.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just stepped on it.
Right?
Yeah. And I told him, I said, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
And he didn't f***ing listen. He won't stand still.
Okay.
You want to sit down and spark a little bit?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Step out.
But lawyers for Wilson's family say this snippet of video shows police punching the teen in the face, precipitating her attempt to escape, they say.
Breaking news, newly released videos show a fatal encounter between a female driver and Dalton police. Before it was all over, shots were fired, an officer was dragged, and the vehicle crashed into a store. There's your video today. Good afternoon to you.
The vehicle is being used as a weapon, and the officer obviously was in fear for his safety.
With the Dalton patrol officer hanging out the passenger side door of this minivan, the young motorist, 19-year-old Alexis Wilson of Homewood, flees the scene, a fast food restaurant on the 900 block of Sibley Boulevard, with Dalton police officers opening fire.
Once the vehicle actually hit the street, there was a series of gunshots that were heard. The officer responded to those gunshots by firing his weapon.
Some of those shots coming from the patrolman hanging out the door, Dalton's chief explains at a morning press conference. Wilson and her vehicle with the officer all crashing together into a nearby bicycle shop. You can hear the badly injured patrolman after the crash, his name or age not being released, as he recuperates in an unnamed hospital. Whether Alexis Wilson was killed by a bullet or the impact of the crash, an open question for now. The Illinois State Police Public Integrity Unit, heading up the investigation, yet to release details on the autopsy, with results from toxicology reports still pending. Police body cams and restaurant security cameras capturing the tragic incident.
The female driver was asked numerous times to step out of the car.
Police called to the scene initially by a 911 call with reports of an irate woman banging on the drive-through window of Baba's restaurant, employees reporting that they saw a gun.
We're not really trying to go over there because nobody wants to get shot in here.
Step out.
But lawyers for Wilson's family say this snippet of video shows police punching the teen in the face, precipitating her attempt to escape, they say.
Right now, a protest over this highly charged surveillance video ends with arrest tonight. Last month, a woman drove off, dragging a Dalton officer before police shot and killed her.
Some of the protesters were holding signs with Alexis's name on them when things apparently took a controversial turn.
Protesters tonight still have a lot of questions over that incident. Cell phone video provided to CBS 2 shows some of those arrests. Dalton police says the crowd crossed barriers and police lines that were set up, and that's when the arrests occurred. Protesters we spoke with say they were peacefully demonstrating on the sidewalk.
The cops spoke with one of the women who was arrested and later released for protesting.
They told me I was arrested for disturbance. So I got some disturbance charges, and I feel like my rights to protest was infringed on.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
The protesters said that despite the arrests, they wouldn't be backing down.
We are protesting to find out what happened to Alexis Wilson. Accountability. That's why we're here. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to stand for justice. No arrest is going to run us away.
There has not yet been an update in regards to the status of the lawsuit that Alexis's family filed. However, they say that her death was senseless, and they are determined to see justice served.
He just shot. He just shot. Let Belsman know he is shooting. He did just discharge his firearm. 113 coming past. That's the Brighton Lipscomb exit. We're passing the 113. The next exit will be 119, that'll be by the Lowe's, so if you can let Belsman know, get on by the Lowe's.
What you're watching are the moments leading up to a 2019 fatal incident between a man named Jamarcus Moore and cops from Birmingham, Alabama. On June 15th of 2019, an officer named Arik Mitchell attempted to pull over Jamarcus's Toyota Camry because he smelled an illegal substance coming from the car. But Jamarcus didn't stop, and instead, he led cops on a high-speed chase. What you just saw was two different angles capturing what happened when Officer Mitchell finally caught up with Jamarcus's Toyota. The first angle was taken from the dash cam of another officer's vehicle from a short distance away, and the second angle was from Officer Mitchell's own camera. The car chase ended with Officer Mitchell's cop car slamming into Jamarcus's Toyota. He and his girlfriend, Samantha Harding, had both been in the front seat. Officer Mitchell jumped out of his cop car and, after supposedly no warning, approached Jamarcus's vehicle and began firing at it, striking both him and Samantha. Samantha was struck once, but Jamarcus was struck twice and was later pronounced dead on the scene. As you can imagine, there was a lot of criticism about how cops handled his situation. Remember that this was all because Officer Mitchell suspected that Jamarcus might have been smoking something he shouldn't have inside that vehicle. While Jamarcus should have pulled over the second he was instructed to, Mitchell's first response being to jump out of the car and start firing at the vehicle seems like quite a tragic over-exaggeration. However, law enforcement would later say that they believed that Jamarcus was armed and that he had fired his own weapon at officers, leading Officer Mitchell to believe that his life was in danger. Samantha Harding, who survived the injuries that she sustained in that attack, filed a lawsuit against the city of Birmingham and was later awarded over $1 million in compensation for what she went through. Jamarcus's sister, Monica Moore, also filed a wrongful death lawsuit and won.
Let's get right to that breaking news right now. A federal jury awarding nearly $4.5 million in a wrongful death lawsuit to the family of Jamarcus Moore. He was shot and killed by Birmingham police during a chase back in June of 2019.
They had the wrong person. I'm on my way to Walmart to get my kids some food,
for the rest of the week, for school next week. Head-on collision.
The woman who was screaming in that video was driver Jamie Kimball, and she had every right to be very, very angry. She was driving near Fairfax, Virginia with her 2 children in the car, including one that was just 6 days old. All of a sudden, she was ambushed by the cops, and her vehicle was intentionally struck.
A now viral video shows the aftermath of what a Virginia woman says was a traffic stop of the wrong person.
They stopped the wrong person. This officer here, 4383, head-on collision. I'm sitting at the light. And he comes and hits me from the front.
If you were listening closely, you could hear officers assisting at the scene yelling at Jamie to get out of the roadway while she is recording a video for proof of what she experienced. It was law enforcement that made a major mistake here, so why is Jamie being treated like she's the one who did something wrong? After all, she or her young children could have been seriously injured in this crash.
It happened on September 25th in Alexandria, Virginia. Fairfax County Police say officers made a felony vehicle stop after they noticed a car that was wanted for taking part in a high-speed chase. Officials believed the people inside were armed and dangerous.
Obviously, not only was Jamie not the right person and had done nothing wrong, but she was also not armed.
Hits me from the front, claiming that I was in a high-speed chase. I've been in the hospital, having my baby.
Kimball recorded the moments after the crash, later posting it to her Instagram account. She said she was on the way to get groceries when officers hit her vehicle head-on.
Can you imagine having just given birth a few days earlier and going out to pick up some groceries when you get mistaken for a wanted felon?
Kimball told local TV stations that officers did not use their lights or sirens or try to pull her over safely before the crash. Fairfax officials confirm officers did hit Kimball's vehicle, but say it was only traveling at 10 miles per hour.
It would seem that the bigger issue at play here isn't really the speed at which the officers were going when they struck this innocent woman, but that they didn't check to make sure they had the right person before doing so. Jamie explained to the cops that there was no way that she could be the person they were looking for who had been involved in a high-speed chase, because she had been in the hospital giving birth at the time that the chase was going on.
My baby is a week 6 days old today. Yeah, you had the wrong person. Your car. No, maybe it was a car like mine. I was in the hospital. If you call Alexandria, I know the hospital. I was in there from the 22nd.
The officers claim that they did have the right car, but that they just had the wrong person.
Fairfax County. Once again, they got another goal point. They got another goal point, dog. Gold star for you. Gold star for you.
Kimball told Virginia news outlets the title of the vehicle was recently transferred to her name. She says police told her the new ownership had not been correctly updated with the Department of Motor Vehicles.
So whose fault is this really, or is it just a very unfortunate mistake? Well, Jamie's was obviously not very happy about it, and says the whole thing was actually quite upsetting. She thinks she at least deserves an apology from law enforcement, which she says she wasn't given. The video that Jamie posted online after the incident went viral and drew a lot of criticism for law enforcement.
Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey reports this young mom was not the person police were looking for.
Jamie Kimball gets emotional as she talks about the incident on Saturday afternoon. A video she posted of the aftermath getting thousands of views.
I still am very angry and more than anything hurt, because I teach my children that the police are supposed to protect us, and that if they need anything, that they can call them for help.
Jamie said that she was just about to turn left into the Walmart parking lot when she noticed the cops behind her and was confused about what they were doing.
They'd noticed a police car trailing, then pulling up alongside them on Richmond Highway. When they reached this intersection, ready to turn left into the Walmart, Fairfax County patrol cars suddenly converged, one striking Jamie's car head-on. The driver in the car behind Jamie took this video.
Jamie can still not believe what happened or how she was treated by the cops.
I don't know what protocol is, but they drew their guns at me and my friend from both sides of the car.
On top of the shock, Jamie was still healing from a C-section birth just days earlier. She and her friend were handcuffed, her kids put in a police car. Once Jamie was released, asking to go to the hospital, she took and posted this video.
That's, of course, the now viral video that has many people angry.
As Jamie Kimball's video circulated on social media, Fairfax County Police issued a statement explaining why they stopped the vehicle and why they thought there might be somebody dangerous inside. Police say they were responding to a felony alert on the car from Arlington County, an alert that listed the occupants as armed and dangerous. They also say the police car that hit Jamie was going less than 10 miles per hour.
It wasn't until Jamie had already been handcuffed and detained that the cops realized that she was not known to be a part of any crime and released her. Law enforcement says they are now doing a review over how the incident was handled, but Jamie wants to see actual change take place.
Jamie wants to know why officers didn't just use lights and siren for the stop. She wants the officer who hit her car fired, and she wants an apology.
I could have lost my life. My kids could have lost their lives. Luckily, everyone in the car was in his seatbelt.
If the cops had simply pulled over her vehicle normally, and instead of intentionally hitting it, Jamie says this whole thing could have been avoided. She would have pulled over, and the officers could have checked her ID and immediately realized that this wasn't the person they were looking for. There was no need for all of this. What she's most upset about, though, is that her 5-year-old who was taken out of her car by the cops saw her getting handcuffed and detained. This was obviously a very upsetting and confusing thing for a child that young.
Jamie expects the emotional damage will be long-lasting.
This was a very traumatic situation, and for a long time, probably forever, for me and my 5-year-old, this will forever affect us.
According to most recent reports, it sounds like Jamie's still waiting on that apology from the cops.
Holding back tears, Monique West says her fight isn't over.
My son wasn't here for Thanksgiving. My son not here for Christmas. And he gone.
6 months after he was shot and killed by a Mount Pleasant police sergeant, Tyrese West's family, with their attorneys, announcing they filed a federal civil rights lawsuit.
Tyrese West was only 18 years old when he was killed by a sergeant from Milwaukee.
Tyrese landed up dead with bullets in his head for no reason.
In June, Sergeant Eric Giese was attempting to stop the 18-year-old for riding a bicycle without a headlight. Officials with the Wisconsin Department of Justice say Giese shot West near 24th and Racine after he didn't obey police commands.
Yes, you heard this right. This whole tragic accident involving an 18-year-old took place stemmed from the teen riding a bike without a headlight.
The officer chased him, tracked him down, and unjustifiably shot him.
Authorities say West was armed with a gun.
This report doesn't make sense. There is no evidence that the gun ever was in Tyrese's hands.
In September, the Racine County District Attorney announced no charges would be filed against Giese.
Tyrese's family says that even if his own department is not going to be doing anything to hold this officer accountable, they will take matters into their own hands.
The civil rights lawsuit filed against Giese and the village of Mount Pleasant cites excessive force, wrongful death, and indemnification. Gathering outside the Racine Police Department Tuesday afternoon, West's family says this step comes in search of justice.
And I want justice for my son. That's all I want is justice for my baby.
So what's the full story here? While there appears to not be any body cam footage that has been publicly released of the moments leading up to when the teen was killed, there is this footage taken from the moments after. In the clip, you can hear Officer Giese cursing while recalling what happened and claiming that the teen hadn't listened.
Okay, I got him down, he tried tossing it. Yeah. I was stepping on his hand right here. Yeah. And then he kept moving towards it. And then he moves past it as he's moving back. Oh, yeah. And I just stepped, and I told him, I said, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to shoot you. Yeah. And he didn't listen. He wants to stand still. Okay.
You got a call back for media. You want to sit down and squawk a little bit? No, I'm good. I'm good.
A very full, detailed report would have to be conducted into what actually happened during this incident. It took a long time for this report to be finalized. The court would then have to review the report in order to come to a decision about how it was handled and whether or not the deadly force was justified. According to the report, it was around 1:30 a.m. when officers first spotted Tyrese riding his bike.
According to redacted dispatch audio, West continued on. The Mount Pleasant police officer ran after him. The situation quickly intensifies.
Go with the
I'll shoot you!
That interaction proved to be deadly. Investigators also released body camera footage from after the fatal shooting, where Sergeant Giese tells his fellow officers what happened, describing the final moments before he pulled the trigger.
And I told him, I said, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you. Yeah. And he didn't listen, he wants to stand still.
Ultimately, though, the decision that the district attorney came to in regards to the incident was not what the family of Tyrese had hoped for.
In a statement, DA Patricia Hansen says she ultimately decided the deadly use of force was justified, saying the case fell under self-defense. She said West had a gun and continued to reach for the weapon, despite commands not to. Photos of the gun were released along with other...
So what does this mean for Officer Giese? Well, essentially, it means that law enforcement believes his actions were both legal and justified. After this incident, he was allowed to return to full active duty. So, what does this mean for the lawsuit? Well, according to some reports, Tyrese's family did eventually reach some sort of private settlement that resulted in them receiving what was referred to as a modest payout. Part of the settlement stipulated that a mural or some sort of memorial statue would be built in the city in memory of Tyrese.
Hands! Put the phone down now! Sit! Lay down! Lay down! Lay down! Put the phone down. Stand up, okay? Stand up, you're good. Stand up, I got you. Hey, you're good, you're good. All right, stand up, I got you. You're gonna be okay. Stand up, I got you. I'm gonna detain you for right now, okay? Let me get every form that's set on the ground so we don't break it, all right?
I didn't run from you! I didn't run from you!
Are you okay?
What you just watched was footage captured on April 16th of 2021 that shows officers in Michigan pulling a firearm and then detaining a 10-year-old child who had been riding in the car with his dad. On this particular day, the boy's father had been driving him to the local mall where an investigation was going on due to criminal activity from later in the day. The boy and his father didn't have anything to do with this incident. However, the child's father drew attention to himself by speeding past the officers and going the wrong way down a one-way street. When the officers were trying to apprehend the boy's father, one of them pulled their weapon on the unarmed 10-year-old. While detaining the child, one of the officers attempted to comfort the child who seemed confused and scared.
These come off just as easy, all right? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Sorry, man, we got two detained, car secure.
Can you put him up?
Two detained, 1534.
Is there anything in pockets we need to know about?
No, nothing.
All right.
Here, you can check.
You're okay, all right?
The child's father can be heard screaming in anger when he realizes that the cops have put his 10-year-old in handcuffs.
Where's your mom at?
He's at home.
Okay. All right.
Why y'all got my son in handcuffs, bro?
Here, let's go over to my car. We'll get you out of those handcuffs, all right?
Take him out of handcuffs.
Okay. I was actually just taking him over to the car to do it. All right, you're good. Do you want to call your mom?
Yeah.
All right, we can call your mom.
The child was picked up by his very angry mother a short time later, and a lawsuit was later filed against the cops for causing emotional injury to the boy. The boy's mother says that after having a deadly weapon pointed at his head for no reason, he will have a hard time ever trusting another officer again. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.